Good evening, everyone. It is Liam, the Deaf Doom Metalhead, and yes, it's another collection update, but this time it's all CDs, all death metal. Yeah, it's brilliant. So then we'll crack straight on, shall we? So the first band is an Aussie band, and I'm very proud to show this one off because it hasn't even come out yet. It comes out, I believe, on the 25th of October, and it's some Aussie death metal. You can hear the first album in the background if you've got good ears. And this is their second full-length album by the band The Plague. This is titled... what's it called? Erosion of Gods. Now, this was originally put out through Bitter Lost Records, but they have since folded this year, so this is technically a self-release now. And if you can hear the band in the background, they are straight up, no nonsense, HM2 driven guitar tone, death metal, in the vein of your Entombed, your Dismember, Early Grave, you know, that whole kind of Swedish death metal style, but in an Aussie aggressive way, if that makes sense. They're a fucking amazing band. And, you know, Aussie death metal, I always say this, they have a very unique look on metal. They're always way extreme, really brutal, no fucking about, no frilliness, nothing like that. And these guys, you know, encapsulate that. They've now got a female bass player for 2023, I believe, and she's recorded on this album as well. So they even have that kind of bolt thrower vibe now as well, with the two guitars, female bass player. What can you not like about that? Now, this is pretty much a continuation from the previous album, you know, very heavily driven on the kind of Swedish death metal riffs with the leads, with the chunky rhythm guitar over the top. Drums sound amazing on this, bass sounds really thick, and the vocalist, he's a fucking monster, absolutely barks out the vocals, really, really catchy, and they're just a really, really cool band. Now, this one, I must admit, the songs on here that stood out the most for me were Rotten, Dried and Mummified. That's got a brilliant chorus on it. And I really like Incinerated and Erosion of Gods, the title track. That was actually really good as well. I've listened to this about 6 times and it only turned up maybe yesterday. Really easy album to get into. Very fast, to the point. I think 10 tracks, probably 40 minutes total, I would say. Probably less than that, maybe. I can't think how long it was in the car. But I fucking love it. Really, really solid album. What else can I say about it, really? Apart from, you know, if you like your HM2 driven death metal, you're already a fan of this band and you need to go pick this up. Now, surprisingly, which shocked me, is now you probably think because it's from Australia it's going to cost a fortune to buy on their Bandcamp. It actually doesn't. I looked yesterday and you can get some of their items shipped for less than a tenner. And, you know, they've got beer cozies, they've got fucking the EPs on there, and you can get that for less than 10 quid shipped from Australia to your house. So I will leave a link to their Bandcamp, but also the European distro that stocks their vinyl, which will also have this, but this isn't available to the 25th of October, so if you go on that site it might not be on there, but on their Bandcamp you can get the album and the shirt and stuff like that. So yeah, well worth checking out, and thanks to the lads from The Plague for supporting my channel. You're all fucking legends. Cheers to you all. Right, moving on. So this band is a band I only discovered the other week and I really, really like it. Now, this is a Canadian death metal band from Toronto, and this is Phantom Crawl. Now, this is a comp for 2023 put out through Sewer Rock Records, and this features the two EPs from 2020 and then the latest EP for 2023. And there is a noticeable difference between this year's and 2020 EPs. So this is a one-man project by a chap called Lucas Gismondi, and he plays everything. Drums, there's no programmed drums, it's all him. Guitar, bass, vocals, the whole shebang. He's one of those talented bastards that can do it all. And this is a solid, you know, US style death metal for the first 2 EPs anyway. It's got that chunky, you know, Floridian style death metal riffs, great vocals, blasts, got the works. But then on the 3rd EP for 2023, he's gone for a HM2 guitar pedal, and he's gone for the more Dismember style. So it's complete contrast to the other 2 EPs. So you get a nice blend of 2 styles, because these 2 are very similar, and then this one completely different. Very different mix, the whole lot. You know, it sounds completely different. So it's noticeable when it changed. And yeah, so you can pick up this comp from Sewer Rock, so you can get all 3 of them for 1 CD, which is great. Wicked artwork as well, and yeah, I really, really like that. That comes in about half an hour long for the whole lot, for 10 tracks as well, maybe a bit longer than that maybe, and it's fucking solid, absolutely great. I mean, you got 3 tracks on the new EP, then you got 4 tracks on the second EP, and then 3 tracks on the first EP. So yeah, I'm not very good at maths, but you get the idea. So yeah, Phantom Crawl, well worth checking that one out as well. Really enjoyed that. Now this one's totally different and completely out of my comfort zone when I picked it up. Well, I sampled it first on YouTube, and after about half an hour in, I got it. And it's not a genre I normally go for, but it's different. So this is some gore grind, but it's mixed in with 90s black metal, if you can imagine that, which you probably can't. So this is Lepoma with Odes to Suffering. This came out this year, 2023 as well, on Grand Vomit Productions, I think it is. Yeah. And you've got 16 tracks, because it's gore grind, of... they don't change. I mean, I'll be honest, the songs don't change drastically for each one. They're all very, very similar, but it's very much your typical gore grind album, shall we say, where you've got the programmed drums that are over the top, chunky guitars, manic pig squealy like vocals, but not pig squeals, but like more like gurgling vomit kind of sound, you know, really brutal. But what really resonated with me and actually made me actually want to get it was the nod to like the early 90s black metal scene, because the riffs on here, I've checked other albums out and he doesn't do it, but on this one he does, where the leads on all the songs are like in the vein of your very early Dark Throne, your very early like Immortal, that kind of thing, where it's got that weird kind of, it sounds like black metal but it's not, and it is purely down to the tremolo picked riffs he's put on the top of the blasts and all that kind of thing. So you get your traditional gore grind, but you also get your kind of this weird black metal 90s arcade like synthy kind of sound in my head. It's really, really bizarre, but the more I listen to it, the more I enjoy it, and it's one of these albums I would never in a million years said I would have picked up. So this is another one-man project based out of New York by a chap called Max Pierce. Again, does everything on here. This is the second full length from the band. I believe there's other EPs and stuff like that. And that is the inside there. But if you haven't checked this out yet, I will obviously leave a link below to everything I talk about, and you can check this one out and tell me what you think, because it had a real black metal nod to it, and I love black metal at the moment. So it was no surprise that it kind of seeped in. So yeah, Lipoma. Really, really surprised me, that one. And another 2023 release. This is the last one for this year. So this is one that was gifted to me by my mate called Alid. I will leave his Instagram link below, because he's another fellow nerd like me who loves music, and I speak to him now and again all the time. Very similar interest in the kind of atmospheric black metal, and I've kind of been pushing him towards the doomy stuff, because he's more into everything, whereas a miserable bastard like me only likes certain things. And he told me to have this because he's got a spare copy of it, and I've never heard of the band before. Again, a style I would probably never would have acknowledged, but after listening to this, I actually really, really enjoy it. This is a Greek melodic death metal band called, let's get this right, Aetherian, and this album is called At Storm's Edge. This was put out through Life Force Records this year, when the cover is wicked. Let's see if I can get it on there. And this is, like I said, melodic death metal. It's quite heavy though for me, what I thought it was going to be, because melodic death metal always sounds a bit wimpy to me, in my head anyway. But because it's Greek, I thought I might like that, and when I checked it out before he sent it to me, I actually was really surprised how much I actually like this band, because I've never heard of them before. There's been a few solid albums this year from the Greeks, and this is another one. This is really, really enjoyable actually. It's kind of in the vein of Insomnium, if you know that band, and I really like them. Seen them live a load of times supporting other bands, and it really had a nod to them. Yeah, it's really good, but this is more heavier than they are, should we say, especially with the vocals and stuff like that. But you've got bags of melody, really catchy, and yeah, and the artwork's solid as well. I love the artwork. So cheers to Alad for that. I will obviously leave a link below to his Instagram page, so if you use that social media platform, go follow him, because he always shouts out some wicked albums. And that is one of them. So yeah, really chuffed to have that in my collection now. Aetherian with the album At Storm's Edge. Brilliant. Now, this band was recommended to me ages ago by Simon Explosive Action, YouTuber. And they are in the vein almost of like Immolation, but also the Ruins of Beverast. And then you've also, because they're Australian, they have that really brutally over-the-top heavy sound that you just can't get anywhere else but Australia to me. And this is Golgothan Remains, or Golgothan Remains, with the album, is it Aetherian Ruin, something like that. It's down below, I can't read. Now, this album came out last year, 2022. Band formed in 2013, and this is only their second full-length album. Is that right? No. I don't know. I'm reading my notes all wrong there, so ignore that. Previous album was that. Ignore that. But anyway, doesn't matter. So this is some Aussie death metal, but it also goes into kind of black metal in a way. It's progressive. It's really out there. Vocally as well, you've got some really guttural stuff and some really high-pitched barking kind of stuff with some screams, and it goes all over the place. It's very atmospheric in parts. It's very trudgy and sludgy and horrible, and it's fast and heavy, and it gives you that kind of immolation kind of nod. But then there's those kind of weird blackened kind of styles in there that kind of remind me of Ruins of Beverast. And it's just a really cool album. Now this is what they call it's like a CD but done in a vinyl kind of style, where it's a gatefold. They don't call it a digipack, they call this a gatefold, and then the CD comes in an inner like that, and then the book's on the other side like that, and then you get a picture of the lads there, and you got your vocals and stuff like that. So yeah, really cool band. I've been a fan of these since their first album, and I really enjoy these lads. But they're very mysterious. They come from Sydney as well as the Plague, who I mentioned at the start of this video. Same city. So yeah, fucking awesome band. So if you've not checked these guys out, please do. I think this came out in Sentient Ruin Records. Yeah. So yeah, and then that label's known for really kind of weird, blackened, kind of avant-garde bands. So yeah, Golgothan Remains. Check them out. And these next two are some former UK London death metal bands that were around and no longer with us. They've formed into other bands, but I got sent these by my mate Danny out of Razor Dead Records, who's also in Decrepid, and he just sent me these one day in like a package, and they're fucking awesome. So I wanted to share them on here because you can probably maybe find them somewhere, I don't know, but musically they're solid, so that's why I wanted to show them. So this first one is a band called Repugnant Inebriation, which will be down there. And this is called Empire of Hate. Now this came out on Eternal Fog Records, which I've never heard of, and probably maybe never you. 3 tracks of really well written death metal in the more brutal vein. It's very heavy, very over the top. This band formed in 2004, and I believe this is an EP from 2008. 3 tracks, like I say. And it features a chap called Chris Basson, who's now the vocalist in Decrepid. Before Decrepid he was in this band, and it also has the bass player Marnie, who was who then moved to Australia and is now in Golgothan Remains, who I just showed you. So there is a link between those bands. I'll show you the inside. It's got a nun there, and yeah, I think this is all they ever did, but it's fucking heavy, really well written, and it's only 3 tracks. So if you can find that, I'm fairly sure it might still be on Danny's record distro site, but I'm not sure. But I'll leave a link below to it anyway. But I have seen it on there before, so it might still be there. So if you do see it, it's not a lot of money. Go get it and add it to your collection, because that's another London death metal band, no longer around, but they were doing some sick stuff. Sick stuff, we'll say it like that. And then this is the other one he sent me, which is another defunct London death metal band, and it's a bit beat up, but it's fucking good stuff. So this is 6 tracks, and this is the band Keelhauling, or Keelhauling, something like that. Formed in 2018, and this is their debut EP from 2019. Features again Chris from Decrepid on vocals, who is there, and also has the drummer Tom from Decrepid. And then there was another 2 chaps that are from Brazil in a band called The Skeptic, who then moved over to London. So it's kind of a UK Brazil band, but then they all lived in London. So it's, you know, London's a big place. You know, you can be from anywhere around the world and come live in London, but you don't come from London. So yeah. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. But this is some solid death metal. Again, really well written. I think this is defunct now, but they could just be on hiatus. I'm not 100% sure. But this is just fucking awesome. Really, really cool stuff. And you get a vibe for the London death metal scene when you listen to this. They're very much over the top heavy, but because in London there's so many different cultures, so many different upbringings, you know, you get all these different feels that come into the band. So you can't say it's a strictly English band, because they don't sound like that at all. It very much sounds like an international death metal band, and it's fucking awesome. So yeah, Keelhauling. I really, really appreciate that, Danny, for sending me those, because they are awesome. So go check out Razor Dead Records and Decrepid, another fucking awesome guy who supports my channel. Getting drunk just talking about it. Right, last two and I'll leave you all alone. So this is some US doomy death metal now. This came out in 2022. The band is from Portland, Oregon, and is a two-piece, and the drummer is in Mournful Congregation and Wergo, if you know those bands. And this is Nightfell with Never Comes the Storm. This came out last year through Total Death Records, I think it is. And I think it's 6 tracks, yeah, of chasmic, eerie, brutally sludgy, heavy, doomy death metal. It's got a blackened feel to it as well, which I really like, and it's just fucking awesome. They put out an album a few years ago, maybe 2020 or 2019, on $20 Spin. That was quite popular, and this is the follow-up to that one. And this one's in a digipack. I don't think this has been released on vinyl yet. I say yet because a lot of times now bands will release an album and then a year later the vinyl will come out, if they haven't got the funds to do it already. And so it looks like that. Now this was tracked all in America, I think. Yeah, it's just brilliant. Really heavy, really thick, chasmic. It's got slow, doomy parts to it, and then it builds into some kind of more faster paced riffing. And yeah, it's fucking brutally heavy, really heavy. So if you've not checked out Nightfell before, go give them a razz if you're into the doomy death stuff like I am, because they are awesome. And lastly is some Spanish death doom, but to me these guys sound like Bolt Thrower's Fourth Crusade, especially this EP anyway. Band is called Hex, and this is the album Behold the Unlighted, put out through a boatload of labels you can see there. And this is what, 3 tracks I think it is, yeah, something like that, of what they do best really. It's just some solid death doom, but I say they sound like the Fourth Crusade because it's the riffing style is very Bolt Thrower-esque, even though it's got nothing to do with war, and you would look at that and think that doesn't look nothing like Bolt Thrower, which I really like, because a lot of bands who sound like Bolt Thrower try to imitate the imagery as well, where these guys, they do sound like Bolt Thrower, but they're not trying to be Bolt Thrower or copy them or look like them. And it's probably just a coincidence that I think they sound like the Fourth Crusade, because I can't remember what the full-length album sounds like. I'd have to go check it out. But this came out last year. Band formed in 2012, so they've been going a while. They're in Bilbao, I think it is, in Spain. And yeah, really solid band, really heavy. So if you like your, like I say, your Bolt Thrower, you'll love all this. Really good take on it as well. So it doesn't sound or copy them in the way the imagery or the vocals, nothing like that. It's just the way the riffs form and how it sounds. It just reminded me of the Fourth Crusade. So go and check these boys out if you haven't. Solid release. So yeah, that is the end of this little video. I wanted to get it done because I am going away for a week or two with the family, and I'm not going to be in front of camera. And I know if I don't do the video now, I'm going to forget about it, and then I'll have to spend weeks trying to remember all the albums again. Ain't going to happen, so you're going to get 2 videos out of me this week. If you haven't watched the other one, I'll leave it above my head. And thank you for watching. Go check out The Plague, another wicked band, and thank you for supporting the channel. Fucking legends. It's not a biased review. Unbiased? Was it biased? Yeah. I loved them anyway before I got sent this, so yeah. Go check them out. I'll stop rambling now. So in the meantime, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't before. I'll speak to you guys in the comments section. Cheers!